are you preparing for the Olympics? What did we talk about? The Olympics is over, or it's going on right now. You're not going to be able to try out for it. Curling on skate. Wayne, okay, we're gonna go live. Oh, we're live right now. Hi everyone, my name is Tina. This is Wayne Drab. We're with Water Use It Wisely and the City of Tempe, and we're here in Tempe live for the grand reveal, and I can't wait for you guys to see it because it looks amazing. If you've been following along and seeing all our other videos, it's just fantastic. It's one of my landscape dreams and possibly one of yours as well. So we're going to take a look at it, and we're also going to have a chance to talk to some plant experts and folks from the Arizona Nursery Association. You're in luck. So prepare your questions, all your burning questions that you have for plants or landscapes, and we're going to go and talk to them right now. Oh, we're ready. Yep, let's go. Okay, Wayne, get ready because we're coming back to you. All right, hi.
Hi.
Thank you two so much for being here. We're here with Cheryl Goar from the Arizona Nursery Association and with Dawn Waltmeyer. Get that right?
Yes.
Waltmeyer.
Yes.
Thank you for coming from the Treeland Nursery.
Yes.
And they are actually wonderful donors that have made great contributions to make this landscape possible, including plant donations all over the place. Even Cheryl, didn't you drive all of the plants here and actually deliver?
We were able to pick them up. Our gracious members donated these plants, so all of the people out there watching this can say, you know what? I want this in my backyard. I want to see what you can do.
Fantastic. Can you tell me a little bit about the Arizona Nursery Association and all the great things that you do to help promote local plants, desert plants, and our local businesses as well?
Yeah, so at the Arizona Nursery Association, we have a campaign, the Plant Something campaign, reaching out to consumers to really make planting within their reach. We talk about the monetary, the health, and the environmental benefits of planting. So that's what we really try to tell you. Get out there, work in your yard. It will really bring benefits back to you by investing in your landscape.
Oh, that's fantastic. And we're just also so happy with all the busy work that you're doing, that you're here to join us and be able to answer some questions about how folks can be involved and help promote planting plants in the landscape. Even with the investment it takes, it's a lot easier than it looks, and we'll talk about a little bit about that as well. And then Dawn, do you want to speak a little bit about why did you decide to donate some of your plants for this campaign as well as the other members?
Well, we just always want to see things done where we use water wisely, basically. They've taken a grass area here and converted it to a smaller grass area and a larger desert area that's going to be watered with drip, so just to conserve water.
That is so awesome. Let's take a look at some of these plants. We'll walk through and, oh, you know what? Let's start with some of the trees. Oh, and there's a Plant Something campaign sign here as well. Awesome.
Yeah, this is the Chilean Mesquite. At this time of year, it starts dormant state. It'll be coming out usually around mid-March. They'll start leafing back out again. This tree will attain a size of probably 30 by 30 someday. It'll shade this
So
whole...
what size is this going in right now? Is it
This was a 24-inch box.
24-inch box.
When it went in the
Nice.
ground. And it will shade this whole west side of this home.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine. How long is that going to take?
They'll grow 3 to 5 feet a year with proper maintenance and care.
Because my Palo Verde, I feel like within 5 years, it was over my house,
Correct.
which was amazing.
Yeah.
Is it similar speed
Similar
for the...
speed, very
for
similar
the
speed, with
Chilean?
proper watering.
Nice.
And that's one of the reasons we're really encouraging getting that well-placed tree on your house, because as Dawn said, it will shade the house, which means lowering your air conditioning bill. And here in Phoenix, that's a very important thing for us to think about. So proper placement of a shade tree is a great thing to have.
Yeah, well, I also like it, this tree being taken a little away from the house, because not just that we need the shade for this house, but Paul has some plans for this little area. So it's not only going to shade the west side, but it may help shade this little patio, and I believe there's going to be a fire pit. We can look at some of the pictures too. And so thinking about the uses of your yard and the desires that you have and placing the trees in relation to that as well can add so much value to it. So kind of get close to you guys, you can see again, once again, some of the designs. Can you see that okay? Okay, guys. And please roll in with your questions as well, but the tree that we're looking at right here is actually going to shade this beautiful fire pit area to elongate kind of that enjoyment for those plants as well. All right, let's look at some of the other plants. Oh, and while we're doing it, we can talk about that since we're over here. It's so beautiful. What is this plant?
That's a petalanthus, or lady slipper plant. That'll just slowly get fuller and fuller and fuller, about max out about 2 feet wide. It'll probably get around 4 to 5 feet tall overall. It'll just be a nice screen against this nice block wall here.
It's beautiful. Yeah, soften the kind of look from this side as well. And the architectural features is so interesting to look at.
Nice vertical growth.
And does it bloom certain times of the year?
It blooms off and on throughout the year.
Awesome. Very beautiful. And notice the space between these plants. Is that by design as well?
Definitely. We see people plant things way too close together all the time. We think most plants are going to take up 3 to 4 feet of space, and most people need a space at least that far apart.
Nice. And if you're looking at a plant and you're considering it, and you're wondering how big is this plant going to grow, what should I plan for, you can always use our Arizona Landscape Plants for the Desert book. Miss Gina, intern extraordinaire, can I have a plant book? Awesome. Takes a full team over here.
We have a question.
We have a question. Awesome. Oh, actually the pink book.
What are some of the best trees for a xeriscape landscape?
What are some of the best trees for a xeriscape landscape?
Well, in general, most all the native trees are good. Palo verdes, there's 3 or 4 varieties. The mesquites, there's 3 or 4 varieties. There's desert willows. They make a very nice tree.
And for your Palo verdes and mesquites, you couldn't actually pick non-thorned ones, varieties as well.
Yes, there are two varieties that are non-thorned.
Nice.
Yes, very good trees. There's a lot of other, in this book, which is free at some of the nurseries around town. There's a lot of good trees in there that all have, low water use type thing.
It's a fantastic book. You can look at some of the plants that Don mentioned, as well as some other varieties. They grow differently in terms of if they're going to shoot straight up, they're going to go wide. So you can actually pick a tree that fits your particular space, which is awesome. And every single plant in here, you'll find out how tall it's going to grow, roughly how wide, the shape of that tree, the foliage colors, the flowers, other comments like low litter, thorns. So it's a really great book. You can get it for free from your local water utility or at your local nursery. We supply those to the nurseries. And you can also go online at amwa.org/plants and actually find it. You can usually find that through your local utility website as well. We link to it, but AMWA is spelled AMWUA.org. So it's a great resource. Thank you for that question. Who was that who asked it?
Stacy Bass.
Stacy, thank you so much. Please roll in with your questions. We're gonna make them our high priority as we go and look at this just beautiful, beautiful landscape. So have we had a chance to kind of pan through? Let's do that. Let's take this moment because it just looks nice. You'll be able to see some of our behind the scenes people as well.
So before the renovation, this was just grass, some live, and then we were able to rearrange this so the homeowner has some useful space as far as that he can make it more useful, and also just to get those trees in there for the shade. He had absolutely no shade in his backyard and no softness. So you can see the difference, even though, as Don said, the plants have just been planted a little over a week ago. So they'll grow up and fill in, and it'll just be a gorgeous place.
It really is, and it's going to save so much water. So I've actually learned about the exact numbers this morning. So about 2,900 square feet of grass was removed, and about 600 square feet of grass was put in. So we're basically saving about 2,300 square feet worth of grass. Like, we don't have to water that amount of grass anymore. While at the same time, it's not just a barren desert. I can't tell you how many times I hear, we're saving water. We took out all of our plants and we have rock instead. We got a little disconnected here. So you get a little behind the scenes technical. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you can hear me okay. But so many times people say, hey, rip out all the plants, rip out the trees, put in rock, and we're saving water. But at what cost?
And you need to know that these beautiful Arizona grown plants can bloom, can be beautiful. Don't think that an appropriate water-wise landscape is rocks with no plants, because it really isn't. These plants are beautiful. Many of them bloom at different times of the year, and you can really have a beautiful landscape while still being very sensitive to water use.
Exactly. If you pair it with some rainwater harvesting, you can really capture that free water that comes from the sky. And at the same time, just supplementing a little bit of water on a schedule is going to help those plants look at their best without needing as much water as your high water use exotic lawns. Actually, Miss Gina is holding one of the great books, the Landscape Watering by the Numbers book, so I'm going to grab that so you can see it. I know we promote the heck out of this, but this is a great book, because if you're just wondering, like, how long am I supposed to water my plants, whether you have a functional amount of grass like what's here, or you have beautiful desert plants, desert lush plants, this book is going to help you learn how to water. It was produced by Water Use It Wisely in partnership with experts from all over the valley, and it's particular to Arizona. So it's Landscape Watering by the Numbers. You can find it at wateruseitwisely.com or linked through the website of your water provider as well. Okay, let's take a look at these plants close up. We've looked at this beautiful tree, but there's at least a couple other trees. All right, let's see. Try to imagine like what all these beautiful ground cover and bushes they're going to look like. In just a few years, it's going to look pretty amazing. All right, what do we have here, Dawn? Well, let's get close. You can talk to the microphone.
This is another mesquite, just like this one over here.
Oh, nice.
It's another Chilean mesquite. It'll grow up very large. 30 by 30 is about an average size form. Again, it's on the west side of his home. It'll shade this entire area very nicely.
What are these little interesting?
That's a gopher plant, Euphorbia rigida. That will grow to about 2 foot tall, 3 to 4 feet wide. It has a very unique bloom. It's chartreuse, kind of a yellowish green color when it blooms. They'll bloom typically February or March. It's a little early for them right now. But they get to be very, very interesting little plant.
Unusual leaves.
Yeah, I wonder what
Cool.
It's in the
almost
Euphorbia
like
family.
furry. Reflective.
And
Part
what's
of
this?
it's drought friendly.
That's an agave gemminiflora. Doesn't get too big. That's one of the smaller agaves. Grows roughly 2 by 2. Very, very nice plant. Will bloom someday, usually 10 or 12 years before they blossom.
So you mentioned these plants have been in here for about a week, and they're looking pretty good for a week. And I remember when you were talking about the delivery, we were like trying to time everything because the irrigation had to go in before.
And you can see the irrigation is working. You can see it's just targeted at the plant. And I think there's probably a Facebook Live on the irrigation.
Yes,
if there's
there
not,
is.
look at the book, because that's really important to have successful planting, is the irrigation and upkeep on your irrigation system.
And I'm glad oh, go ahead, Don.
Well, that's one thing we see at the nursery is people don't know how to water, or they don't know their clock. We would really stress that people learn how to run their irrigation timers, because if they run every day, that's not a good thing.
No, it actually not only be a drain on our water resources and the water bill, but the plants don't like it.
Correct.
Yeah, and the reason, I mean, it's nice and wet, we're trying to get these plants established. So they're going to need a little extra water, but not forever, just at first, exactly, to get over the shock of being transplanted.
Yeah.
Oh, we're feeling a little bit of rain. This is nice.
Yeah, it's our first day of winter.
It's actually, yeah, perfect. I think Janet and Ryan from Weibel Associates, they had mentioned kind of how this area and then a few of the other areas too, they're a little depressed and deeper than the rest of the area, so that the water can kind of be directed over here, which was a wise decision.
Yeah, and that's one thing our local nurseries, if you have questions about your plants or even about the watering, go into your local nursery and ask for your Arizona certified nursery professional. If they don't even have the people there on staff, they'll give you a recommendation of someone who can help you with your watering system.
Someone who has that horticulture background, who knows about plants and can give you that advice. That's awesome. Yeah.
The other thing that's really important that we see at the nursery is people don't make the good plan first out when they start. We'd like to see people start on paper, get it all how they want things done, and work at it in stages so that it turns out like this.
I like how you mentioned stages, because I want to promote our other wonderful book, Landscaping with Style, Xeriscape. It actually talks about those stages. Because you don't have to do this all overnight. You don't have to win a contest to have a landscape this beautiful. This book will actually walk you through, like, what are the things to think about at the beginning, and what are the things that you can do next, what are the important phases to go through, so that in a couple years you can have that landscape and you can be part of that process of getting it to where you want it. There's a lot to be said for starting slowly.
Yes, and planning.
And planning ahead. Awesome. All right, let's keep wandering and looking. What about this plant over here?
That's a plant called plumbago summer snow.
Beautiful.
It's going through its dormancy right now. It turns purple in the winter before it drops its foliage. It'll come out with new green foliage in about another month.
Nice.
This will grow to a height of around 3 to 4 feet and maybe 2 to 3 feet wide.
Wow, nice.
It blooms throughout the summer, a white plumbago type bloom. Very nice plant.
And looks like there's some white flowers on there.
There's a few flowers on there right now. Just
Beautiful.
kind of at their spent stage.
There's so many desert plants with just beautiful flowers and beautiful blooms. It's just, yeah, if you haven't taken a look at some of the plant book, it's a lot more of variety and a lot more bloom than you'd think.
Yes.
Cool. And if you look at the plant book, there's over 200 plants in here, and you're like, I need some more variety. There's actually, this is just a subset of a bigger list put out by the Department of Water Resources with a whole list of drought-friendly plants. So if you want to go a little bit more exotic but still stay low water use, there's so many options. And your local nursery expert can help you with that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. Oh, we get to the bushes.
That's green hopseed. That's a native plant. This will grow into a screen for this fall right here. It'll grow up. Typically 6 to 7 foot is kind of its average size, and 3 to 4 feet wide.
Nice. So just over the wall?
Just over the wall.
Okay, perfect.
It'll screen the wall and screen, the neighbors if necessary.
Great alternative for your bougainvillea. Like this
Correct.
can perform the same natural wall ability or
Screening
function.
or hedge type material as well.
Nice. Okay, beautiful. And then I think we're at the lady fingers again over here.
Lady
there's
slipper.
Lady slipper. Not lady fingers.
That's a cookie.
Oh, Valentine's Day hunger, I guess. Munchies. Over here. Oh, Wayne, hi. Are you hanging out with Lenny the gargoyle? Awesome. So this is where Lenny ended up. It's actually pretty cool. Lenny's all the way in there. Is Lenny your best friend now, Wayne? Awesome. All right. Well, I think it's actually mostly the same plant. Did we talk about this one yet?
We have not. That's Tucurium
what's this?
prostratum. It's called Tucurium prostratum. That will, as a ground cover, it'll grow about 6 to 8 inches tall. It'll spread about 2 to 3 feet. It does bloom a small bluish, light blue flower
Oh, beautiful.
in the summer months.
Oh, cool.
So these will grow together and make this look kind of green without being
Correct.
grass?
Correct.
Okay.
I like that patterns, because these are the same. That's the same, right?
Correct.
All the way
They'll all
across.
grow together.
So do
when
you
it's finished.
recommend that for a lot of?
I do.
Customers?
For the eye to look at from a landscape standpoint, a lot of times you're visual to have the same shapes, colors, and forms.
Is it even or odd better when you're picking like number
Well,
of plants?
typically we like to group things in odd numbers. Not always necessary, but that's normally the way to look at it, in my opinion.
Nice. All right. Well, gosh, I really appreciate both of your time. There's one last thing I kind of wanted to hit on was just the value of this landscape, because we know Paul's going to enjoy it. He's going to get a dog, and the dog's going to run around on this functional amount of grass. He's going to have a fire pit and enjoy that shade. And in a couple years, everything's just going to fill out. But what are some of the other values that plants provide for the home as well?
Well, we talked about, lowering your utility bills, but also we really want to hit on raising your property value. Paul may have won a $9,000 landscape, but anything you do in your home, we have studies that say when you resell it, you'll get up to 15% more by having a well-landscaped yard. There was a show on HGTV, Curb Appeal. You really want the front and back to look nice.
Nice, the water's on.
Yes, there's our sprinklers. So it really, really is a place where you'll get that return on your investment, as well as, like you said, Paul said he never came back here.
Yeah,
So now
what a
he's
wasted
gonna come
amount of
back.
property.
It's like
right?
extending your living room. So.
Exactly. Oh, I'm just so excited for Paul, and really excited for the potential for this landscape to help promote that idea that you can have the landscape you want, and you can have all the functions that you want, including grass, while still saving water. Like, this is such a great example for us. And so really a call to action for all of you on this beautiful Valentine's Day is fall in love with your landscape, or the landscape that you have, or even better, the landscape that you dream of. Start with a plan, start slowly. Come to wateruseitwisely.com where we have amazing videos, like basically covering the journey of Drab to Fab for both here, this landscape, but also our Avondale winner as well a couple years ago. So all the resources and tools, we try our best to provide those for you so that you can also get a water thrifty, desert, lush landscape of your dreams. So thanks for joining us, and please follow Water Use It Wisely. Make sure to get the notifications. Any other questions from our followers before?
Why would the sprinklers come on now, as in terms of the morning or night and midday? Is there a reason for that?
That's a really good question.
Well, this is new sod.
Yes.
And new sod needs to be watered, 3 or 4 times a day when it's first installed. That's why they're coming on now. On average, we recommend people water early morning.
Yes, yeah, after dusk, before dawn, normally speaking, but because it just got put down, we're trying to get it really healthy, so it's a little bit of an establishment period. Cool. Thank you all for joining us. See you next time. Make sure to follow us.